Claudia, the Organized Homemaker. Today we're going to be doing a tour of my front flower border. I want to preface this video by saying that this border is only 2 years old. That's right, 2 years old. It is a work in progress. I'm still adding plants. I'm still editing and moving things around until I get the look I'm going for. The reason why this border was developed was because we were faced with a really bad storm a couple years ago, and we noticed that most of the trees bend towards the house when there's a storm. And so we were cutting down 5 trees in the front, and it was going to leave us pretty open in this big space. Rather than add more grass, of course, I added more flowers. So we cut the trees down, left the stumps for a while, and in the video you will see 1 or 2 stumps. Hubby is still working his way on getting them all cut down, but I think it adds to the rustic nature of my garden. I live in the country, and I consider my border a tropical cottage type of vibe, but you'll pick that up. It has a lot of warm colors because I'm an island girl. I was born in Jamaica, and I want to have my garden be representative of me. So the border is only 2 years old. I'll go and show you some of my favorite things. I'll be adding in videos I've taken at different times showing you different things which are blooming, and I hope you enjoy. Leave your comments below, and as always, if you like what you see, subscribe to my channel. Always present when the camera is around, I have several garden beds, and over time I will introduce you to each bed. I have some beds that I'm more thrilled with than others. This is one that makes me very happy. It is about 2 years old. Now, I will say this portion has been here for years. When we moved in, I put a flower bed on that side and this little piece here to border each side of the driveway. And then last year, when my husband took down some trees throughout the front here, I decided to expand the border. Now, the majority of my plants are clearance plants or transplanted from elsewhere in my garden and or gifted from friends. I will say also that I love the clearance rack at Lowe's, as well as local nurseries, because they're able to order me things that I particularly like. So let's get started. In the front here, for early spring interest, I have forsythia, this huge bush. Right next to it is a bridal's wreath spirea, and in the back, for some winter interest, is this huge clyrea. Y'all, when I went to the store, I thought that was a camellia. It was labeled a camellia. I planted it, and it is not a camellia. So over the years, I've kind of just let it stay because I like the leaves, and the sheen of the foliage gives some type of interest. I have different daylilies planted in here. Black-eyed Susan, which are just starting. There's a calla lily right there. Sedum, both autumn joy, as well as this variegated sedum that I also like. This is a hardy hibiscus. And then the back border of this bed has several limelight hydrangeas throughout them. It also has a border of trees to the extreme rear of the bed. And the reason I did that is so that over time, the bed has more definition coming down the driveway. From this side, I know where it ends, but coming down the driveway, you'll know where the flower bed ends versus the garden. So next to that are some tiger lilies, and I have a Japanese magnolia, an Ann magnolia right there. I have a variety of roses, both knockouts as well as David Austin heirloom roses, Jackson and Perkins roses from Pike Nursery. I don't have a real preference. I just plant what I like, and I love color. I'm from Jamaica, and in Jamaica we have lots and lots and lots of color everywhere. So my garden is reflective of my self and my culture. In the front here, I have dianthus, that is an orange dianthus with some blue salvia. This is catmint, followed by kiss me coreopsis, and there is a coneflower right here that's just beginning to bloom. Have some lamb's ear as well as some lemon coral sedum. Stelladora lilies, as well as there's a baptisia here that's no longer blooming, but it'll bloom again soon. Need to come in and deadhead some of these roses. There is my shepherdess rose. I absolutely adore it and have decided I need to add more of them in the garden. So I have that. This is a Puxter Blue butterfly bush. There is some white yarrow and some white angelonia. I also have the Midnight Masquerade, penstemon. So lots of light purple, light blue. This is a Mexican heather on this side right there. One thing you will also notice in this bed is lots of forsythia. So besides this huge bush there, I have them interspersed in between. So in the spring, when everything is asleep, the forsythias are functioning. Behind the forsythia right here is a vitex, which will be trimmed and kept as a bush. I'm not sure I want it as a tree. I have some Shasta daisies right here, or Montauk daisies, and all kinds of daylilies and Asiatic lilies. I have a dwarf spruce here, spruce, excuse me. You can probably get the actual name and put it down below. And this right here is a rose of Sharon. Sorry for the shaky camera. This is a coral bark willow, twisted willow, and we will have that for winter interest. In the winter, the bark turns red, and you will see Lola. Lola up there is my little Maltipoo. She is busy guarding the yard from our neighbor's cat. So she sees something I don't see, and you'll probably see her take off in the back of this video. A lot of elements are repeated. I have a bird bath over here to attract our little friends. I have seen birds in one of our bird baths so far. They're new. The one in the vegetable garden has been here for years, so they use that one. But the ones here in the flower borders are new. Now look at this particular rose. I'm going to give you a close-up of this rose. This is fun in the sun. Is this not stunning? It's one of the newest roses that I added this year to the garden, and I am in love and will definitely be adding more. That is a Clara over there that I've added for winter interest, and I also have Loropetalum over there for more winter interest. Viburnum, excuse me, for winter interest. They bloom real early spring. More coneflower, as well as calla lily, daylilies. Here is an Henri clematis that has bloomed already. Excuse the mess behind. We are a yard in progress. We've cut down some trees and are still chopping those up and putting them where they need to go. So a couple of the trees that came down is here. So my goal is to mulch over these and have them deteriorate over time. I do not use toxic products in my yard, so I've had many suggestions of what to do with them, and I'm just going to let them deteriorate. So there's a gardenia bush back there that's blooming. It smells magnificent right here. Crepe myrtle right there. I have elephant ears, Midnight Masquerade, penstemon. No, that's the mystical penstemon right here. Different roses, as I said. Okay, this season I added this bird bath from Good Directions. I felt like the garden needed a couple of elements to give a focal points and interest. So I added that one. I have Casablanca lily here, as well as rose mallow, Dixie rose mallow right there. Drift roses throughout, which give me that constant color while this garden bed is changing throughout the season. Lots of Black Eye Susan that are not in bloom yet. You can see them here and well as there. Asiatic lilies. This is one of 2 white roses that I have in the yard, but I'm supposed to be adding a couple more this growing season. This over here is a kaleidoscope abelia, beautiful for winter interest and lots of color in the summer. There is a limelight hydrangea here. You can see it right there. There's also one right there, and then one on the other side of the bird bath. This bird bath is where I found our little friends taking a bath this morning. So gladioli, more hardy hibiscus in here, daylilies, Montauk daisies, Gara. I have some liatris as well as some veronica that's getting ready to bloom, as well as some salvia in here. I have trumpet flower, and then back behind this Rose of Sharon, which will swap places with that peach color rose. That peach color rose is called Soul Sister. That is also a gorgeous one. I'll let you see. Stunning. Back here has not been weeded yet. It's the only little spot in this garden that's not been weeded yet. This is a Darcy Bustle rose, and it is also stunning. More gardenia. So as I said, I'm going to be swapping this rose of Sharon with this rose back here, so that it's layered with this peach drift rose and this coral knockout rose. I think those colors would play nicely together. There's some catmint in here, some daylilies, as well as some coneflower. This is a little path my dogs have made to be able to get over here, so I'm going to actually leave it open for them. I have some diamond frost euphorbia at different points throughout this bed, as well as balloon flower, more salvia and purple dianthus, lemon coral sedum. This is a Weigelia, another springtime blossom. Japanese cherry blossom tree, crepe myrtles that are very young. I've planted on this trellis this honeysuckle vine for the first time this year. I'm looking forward to it growing in. It's going nicely up the arbor. I'm looking to add some fishing line like Laura from How's It Growing, New Jersey. She's inspired me to add some fishing line to my arbor, my trellis, so that I can train the vines up it. But right here is another area that will feast for your senses, as it were. The gardenia bush is blooming, smells heavenly. And then on the other side is this star jasmine. This jasmine plant has a very nice scent as well. This part of the vine needs to be on that fishing line so that it'll come up and over. I plan to move this gardenia bush back here, just because it's shielding some of the things that I've planted, but always knew I needed to move it, but I didn't want to move it. Actually, I'm sorry. It's going to go where this log is. We cut this tree down last year and hubby just removed the stump. He's supposed to come back and chop up this log and put it over there so that I can move this here and fill in here with more low growing items. Some more Asiatic lilies that are blooming. Here's a penstemon buried. Here's another diamond frost euphorbia. This amaryllis has bloomed and is done blooming. There is a Budalia, a butterfly bush right here, another Vitex right there, some cone flowers, and this is a tropical milkweed, Spirea for the springtime, and Forsythia for the springtime. And behind is a very small lilac tree that I hope to grow up so that when we're sitting on our patio, we can have nice scents to help us. Here is another Vitex back here, as well as another curly willow. And that curly willow will have a red bark also in the winter time for winter interest. This is a dwarf Japanese cypress, and it stays this little. It's at full grown height, but it's for winter interest. When all of this dies, I will have that there, as well as the willow. So I have echinacea that's getting ready, coneflower that's getting ready to bloom. I have a hibiscus over here, limelight hydrangea. I have all kinds of daylilies and liatris right here. This is that coreopsis again, lamb's ears that's covered in sawdust from when my hubby cut up the stump. I'm actually going to plant in the stump. I want you all to give me some ideas of what I could plant in that stump. This is a coffee cup elephant ear right here, and behind it is a angel's trumpet. Some of these things have already bloomed and a lot of them have yet to bloom. So this is the millennial garlic and some annual salvia. Most of my salvia is the perennial kind. I'm in zone 7B in Georgia, and so therefore lots of things which are annuals elsewhere will be perennialized here. And I will say that I think there are some parts of my yard that are a zone 8, because there are certain things that should not come back that return every single year. So here's a look at the border.